Our Bone Breaker franchise is absolutely one of my favorite gaming franchises ever, and since Sniper Elite Resistance will come out in 15 days, thought it was a good idea to revisit the first 3 games. Let me put away my nostalgic glasses off, and let's go. Sniper Elite 1, the game which started it all, is a third-person tactical shooter stealth video game developed by Rebellion, the British game developers, which you might also know from Rogue Warrior or the Sniper Elite games or the Zombie Army games. Now back in the day, Rebellion wasn't as big as you know it now. They were really famous for developing some ports of some games, like the PlayStation 2 port for World at War, or the PlayStation 1 port of the first Rainbow Six, or the PlayStation 2 port for Delta Force Block Hackdown. So this is almost their first time in developing a full-scale huge game. Did they succeed? Well, it depends. So in Sniper Elite 1, you take foot as sniper specialist Karl Fairburn, a German-born sniper, and he's an OSS agent. His goal is to stop the German nuclear bomb into falling into the Russian hands. So it's a bit of a Cold War and World War II game, which I really enjoyed that piece of plot there. The game emphasizes using a sniper rifle in long ranges combat, which almost feels exclusively sniper game. As for the title, and that's what made it differ from the other shooter games back in the day. Now, as for how good was it, it's not extremely good, but it's definitely how it sounds. Perhaps the biggest problem in the game are the stealth, or the AI you might say, because the AI is inconsistent. Sometimes they just see you from afar, and other times they just don't see you at all, which is a huge issue. Because in the early missions, I tried to almost every mission, I tried to stealth it, but couldn't, since you have very little window to do the stealth, and it doesn't even work even if you do that. Like, just look at him zigzagging. How am I meant to go against that? So you can mask your shot with the thunder or the explosives, and you have silent pistol, which is silent. Other than that, you don't have anything else. Most of the missions are scripted for you to do it in action, and it's not very clear where can I action it or where can I stealth it, so that was really annoying. I'd advise you to just run and gun action it the whole way through, and do not waste your time trying to make the stealth work. It's one of those games. The design isn't much brighter, neither. It's set in the wrecked cities and buildings of Germany, and almost all of them played the same, except for a few exceptions here and there, but I do like the atmosphere of the game.
That gun crew has to go.
The game definitely make you feel like a sniper and a powerhouse. And it is special, to be honest. There wasn't any game like it back in the day, and even now I might say. It's true that the game is not perfect, and Karl, he's skiing on land, because what the hell is that? Car models, take notes from this acceleration. Yeah, the movement is something else in this game. Probably one of the worst games movement I have ever seen. Even back in the day, it was very clunky. Plus, most of the times, you will use your submachine gun plus the sniper, since you can always aim with the sniper even if you don't have it equipped at the moment. Sometimes the game locks you out of progress. It happened to me twice. But thank God, the game doesn't make it a habit out of that. The soundtrack in this game, while repeated, it was good enough for me to enjoy. It could be a hit or miss. If you're interested in this atmosphere and this period of time, I would say Sniper Elite 1 delivers heavily on both of these things. You feel like a sniper, you feel like this shadow agent, and you feel the cities tearing apart with the screams of people and children alike. This plus some missions really make the gameplay shines, like make you hiding in a building and ambush a general that's inside a car or something, flanking enemies from behind, making a time bomb to distract enemies. Sniper Elite 1 definitely delivers on those things, but due to the clankiness of this game plus some other issues, it could be a rough choice for some. For me, I enjoyed it. I finished it in one day, in one session almost, and it took me 6.5 hours to finish. Sniper Elite 1 isn't a game you want to write home about, neither is it so bad that you're gonna tell your friends how bad it is. If it wasn't for the inconsistent AI and the stupid design in some missions and the stealth that doesn't work most of the times, it would have been much higher. But I'll give this game 6.5 out of 10. It's not something mesmerizing, but it's innovative enough to hold my attention for the whole 6 hours.
I controlled my breathing to steady my aim. And then... shoot.
So Sniper Elite V2 was released after 7 years from Sniper Elite 1, so on the 7th generation console, you'd expect something big, something more suitable for the new generation. And in so many ways, that couldn't be far from the truth. Let's deep dive in, starting with the story. Now as for the title, the writers want to be smart, like it's a V2, it's as well a sequel. Ooh, yeah, I like it. So it's pretty simple. Karl Fairburn, the same protagonist from the first Sniper Elite, want to destroy the V2 rockets and the German scientists to stop it from falling into the Russian hands. They redone it again. Almost the same plot of Sniper Elite 1, and I don't know, it could be a reboot or something, but again it's the same plot, and it does have that Cold War mixed with World War II type of events, which I enjoy for the most part. And the story in this one is a little bit more focused than the first one. Karl has a little bit more of a goal, more of a motivation.
When Eisenberg was dead, I was committed now. Both the Russians and Germans would know I was in play. 4 to go.
And you kind of feel the danger because the presentation of this game is surprisingly good. I mean, yeah, it's not Call of Duty or Red Dead Redemption 2, but it definitely holds its own surprisingly well. And not only the writing is improved in Sniper Elite V2, but the graphics as well. This game looks amazing, even in 2025. It's weird saying 2025. Anyway, this game looks like a masterpiece. The lighting and the fire and the effects and the smoke are all here, and it definitely looks very, very amazing, and definitely one of the best looking games in 2012, and I can't believe it's 13 years ago. It's not all fun and games. The AI is again stupid. Sometimes you shoot an enemy 4 bullets in the pistol and they don't die, and sometimes you shoot enemies in 3 sniper bullets and they don't die, and sometimes they shoot at you and their friendlies wouldn't even notice. Yeah, that's the level of dumbness we're talking about here. Even dumber from the first game, somehow. And the transition between action and stealth is seamless. Like, guys, I just massacred 20 guys in the previous area. It's not that far, I swear. It's probably shorter than the distance between you and your belly. And if you think that's the end, no, the design is worse than the first game in my opinion, because it's very linear, and I don't have a problem with linearity. I do have a problem with boring linearity. So the design is almost all over the place. Sometimes it's wanna be a stealth shooter, other time it wanna be an action game. Yeah, and you guessed it, it doesn't work. But if you're like me, you can just turn your brain off and just enjoy the game for what it is. You can definitely do that here. Like, I enjoyed many of my time in Sniper Elite V2. Is it a perfectly created game? No. Far from it. But is it still enjoyable? Yeah, I would say definitely. And the game glitches sometimes. Like, I can't even progress here. And one more thing, stealth in this game, still pretty much like the first one, it doesn't work well. Like, some enemies have an eagle vision and some other enemies are just so stupid. And sometimes once an enemy have a machine gun, he have a great vision now, somehow. Yeah, but again, it's still enjoyable. I know I shitted on this game a lot, but it's definitely enjoyable. And my favorite part of this game, and probably one of the best soundtracks I have ever heard, is the soundtrack of Sniper Elite V2. Seriously, whoever made that, you're a legend. Not only the soundtrack, the sounds in this game is just amazing. The enemy callouts, the sound of the bullet. I love it. Okay, that's it for the campaign. How are the other game modes? You have to fix your vehicle, so you'll have to get 6 different parts. The premise is fine, the application is not. The worst thing about this mode is the enemies respawn. The amount of times enemy respawns in the most weird places, and they'll become so crowded, which makes it almost unplayable. Worst mode in Sniper Elite V2. This is pure Sniper Elite experience. You'll have to fight your way through 10 different waves with different enemies and vehicles. It has one of the most tense moments in any video games ever, and this is peak gameplay. No checkpoint, just pure challenge, but all of this could lead to nothing with one of the most annoying mechanics, which is the RPG guys. One shot in the 10th wave and this will happen. 7 the best for last, Overwatch. You and your friend, one can be the spotter and one can be the sniper, have to complete different objectives in order to complete the mission. One of the best cooperative experience ever, and this one is an absolute cinema. So that's it about Sniper Elite V2. The campaign only took us around 2 hours and 10 minutes. Though not perfect, far from perfect, enjoyable enough for me to finish. For the amount of content you get, I'll give this one slightly better than the first one. 6.7 out of 10. In every franchise, you have the entry which takes the franchise to the desert. For Sniper Elite, it was 3. The biggest improvements here is the stealth system. It's wild how can 2 games have the same mechanics, yet one work way better than the other. Now you can turn on regenerators to mask your shot. This, plus it's finally a sandbox game.
Hooray! Hooray!
I'm not saying you can't make a good linear sniper game, but the ones we had show some concerns, to be honest. Anyway, the sandbox is here and you have optional objectives now. Everything that is bad in Sniper Elite 3 is almost always doesn't affect the gameplay. Even the ones that would affect the gameplay doesn't happen much often. Like here, where I died and the game just went back to like 10 minutes earlier. Or sometimes you can't shoot enemies even though the crosshair is on them. And now, finally the gameplay is way wilder than the second one. You can play as Ghost by causing some trouble and then just vanish. Or you can play it action and go gun blazing. But the biggest issue perhaps in this game is not having the ability to change shoulder's view, which made many of the fights in this game near impossible to take. Like this game desperately needs it. Though the visuals are an improvement upon Sniper Elite V2, but the overall art style is less inspiring. It doesn't have the great fashion that Sniper Elite V2 had, you know, with all the fire and the Berlin view, even though it does capture Africa or North Africa quite well. But the overall art style was a disappointment to me, especially coming after V2's. Speaking about disappointment, what the hell happened to the story? I know nobody plays Sniper Elite for the story, but this one is significantly a downgrade from Sniper Elite V2, which has semi-good story to tell. The story of the 3 is just find this general and then find his notebook and then find his plan. It doesn't work, it's just boring. Like imagine, this is a real scene in Sniper Elite 3.
We are not the same.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And speaking about downgrades, the soundtrack here took the biggest hit perhaps, and many missions needed an host, but it didn't have one. Other than these issues, Sniper Elite 3 is fresh and offers many great new additions like the loadout where you can customize your gear, and the stealth is an absolute improve with the enemy AI is more predictable, and the game offers a great HUD to highlight whether the enemy is noticing you or not. Much more reliable than V2's indicator. The visible meter is back, but let's be honest, nothing beats that classic logo. Though I wish this game make use of the grass because it's useless in Sniper Elite 3, but that feature will appear in another game. Though many of the features in Sniper Elite 3 are bare bones, but sometimes it's okay to play a simpler game which understands itself and doesn't try too hard and succeed in every way. The reason many of us are here. You have 2 maps and the checkpoint is between 3 waves, which there are 15 of in total in every mission. I like the checkpoint addition. It definitely makes the survival mode more bearable than dying in a single RPG or a tank in Sniper Elite V2, which was annoying. Talking about annoyance, perhaps the most annoying thing here is the tanks. Seriously, these tanks hit like tank. This guy really thinks he's funny, which can sometimes one-shotting you. That has been really disturbing. And this one is definitely more boring than V2's one, because the game is way too easy and has checkpoints, and the only hard thing is the tanks, which are very cheesy for difficulty. Overall, an alright mode, it's inferior to the second game significantly, even though this one is more balanced and more polished, but lacks the whole idea of the survival mode, which is the survival itself, by offering no real challenge and way too easy. It lacks the diversity of maps, and way too long.
We know the drill here. Let's do this.
My favorite mode in Sniper Elite 2 and 3. Maybe in this one is the campaign, but this one is a close second. I love this mode, but let's talk about the thing I hate the most about it is the connection. It's really bad. Like you only have good connection when you host a game. Otherwise, yeah, you're because the delay is crazy. And it's weird because it only happens in Overwatch. It doesn't happen in survival mode. Does it have different servers or something? So if you shoot something and the bullet counts, good for you, but it's gonna have a delay. And if you shoot something and the bullet don't count, well, too bad for you. But overall, let's leave the technical issues aside. That was an absolute blast to go through from the start to finish. A great enemy placement, unlike the second one, great locations, diverse objectives, plus everyone has a good role. The sniper will do the sniping part and be satisfied. The same goes for the spotter. But Sniper Elite doesn't handle a lot of enemies in one scene. Definitely not the ones with RPGs, so that made some of the missions annoying, but overall it was super enjoyable. And this is peak Sniper Elite experience. So that's it about Sniper Elite 3. Saying Sniper Elite 3 is just a good game is an understatement, because this game is perfect for its size, if that makes sense. It doesn't try too hard, but it's not a walk in the park. And that's how you make a sequel. The campaign took me around 4 hours and 47 minutes to finish, while the Overwatch took a whooping 2 hours and 23 minutes to finish. And lastly, the survival took us an exact 2 hours to finish. With an overall playtime of 9 hours and 10 minutes, I'm more than satisfied with my experience with Sniper Elite 3. And I'd say give it a try, even nowadays. And I'll give this game 7.4 out of 10. Well done. I guess that's it about the first 3 Sniper Elite games. If you have reached this far, thank you so much. You're just giving the video like a little weasel. Well, I don't know what to say to you. Try watching it full. It's worth it maybe? I can't blame you. I do this all the time. The Sniper Elite series offers a very unique experience, just like Sniper Ghost Warrior. But this one perhaps is more polished, I guess. Though I wish the game just runs away from World War II to try out new things, or I guess I just want Rebellion to start a new series and go with it, because I think it does a little bit lack the innovation. But overall, a very unique series offers a great campaign experience and co-op experience, and I'll be definitely waiting for every release of this series, and it's one of my favorite. Like seriously, I have finished the first game like 2 times perhaps, or 3 minimum, the second game like 10 times minimum, and the third game like 5 times minimum. Imagine, just to show you how much I love this franchise. It's true, not the best game ever, but it's just a budget title, and for what it's worth, it's a good one. Try to watch my Delta Force series. I gave it the same treatment. So time to put back my nostalgic glasses on and play some more Sniper Elite.
Echo? Nicht.